Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new IDontWorkHereLady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled, Forced Racist Rich Lady to Dumpster Dive. Some time ago, I had a job as a runner for a crappy horror movie company. Part of my job as a runner was to go to the bank to make various deposits and withdrawals for both the company and the boss. I went to the bank almost every day, sometimes multiple times a day. The bank was in a really upscale neighborhood, so it was not uncommon to see some really high-end cars in the nearby lot where I parked. The lot was not free if you were just parking to walk the area, but you could get validation if you went to certain specific businesses, like the bank a few buildings away. At this point, I had been at my job for about 3.5 years, which meant I had been to this lot easily about 1,000 times. I knew a lot of the workers in the area by name, including the lot workers. We talked a lot, and oftentimes I could get away with not getting validation, even on days I wasn't working. I was in my mid-20s and was often in shorts, flip-flops, and a merchandise shirt from my company. We didn't have uniforms, so they just gave me a ton of shirts from their movies, so I would have some kind of identifier while I was out working. Now, I should mention that I am Hispanic with pretty dark skin. I normally wouldn't even bother mentioning that, because who cares? You know who cares? Rich entitled people. I've seen my fair share of veiled racism and typecasting over the years. Hell, even at that lot, I've been asked multiple times to park people's cars. They usually apologize and look embarrassed when I point out the guys in the polo shirts and vests with the name of the lot on them, so I usually just roll my eyes and go about my day. Occasionally, I'll get someone rude that will snap their fingers at me, which I extremely hate, or chuck their keys at me. I'm usually a little more of an ass, but nothing major. On this day, I was in a fairly poor mood. My company was starting to do some shady stuff and was screwing over employees. A lot of people hadn't been paid in weeks, and I was on half checks. The only reason I got any money was because the main meat of my job had me driving anywhere from 4 to 12 hours a day, and I can't do that without gas, which they reimbursed me for on top of my paycheck. So on my way to the bank, I bought a strawberry smoothie for lunch, as I knew there was no chance I was gonna make it back to the office to eat the food I brought. I pull into the non-valet parking in the lot, chat with the attendant while I grab my ticket, and start walking towards the bank. I hear someone shouting, "Jose. Hey Jose." But obviously I ignore it, as my name is not Jose. I walk past the lady shouting when I feel something smack me in the back of the head, dropping my glasses. I pick up my glasses and turn around and see this red-in-the-face lady glaring angrily at me. I was super pissed. I looked down to see what hit me and, of course, it was her car and house keys. This idiot literally threw her keys at a stranger's head. She was driving some really nice Escalade that looked like it was probably fully loaded and detailed regularly. I pick up her keys and shout, "What the duck, lady?" She shouts back, "Didn't you hear me calling you, you ducking beaner? It's your own fault for ignoring me. I'm late for my hair appointment, park my goddamn car." I was absolutely dumbfounded. I tried to explain to her that I didn't work there, but she was not having it. Every time I opened my mouth, she called me something even more demeaning and racist, questioning my intelligence and threatening to get me fired. She started walking away, so I decided, duck it. I hurried up, walked to the restaurant next door and shouted, "Hey, idiot." She turned around, steaming at her ears. I said, as calmly as I could manage, "I don't work there." Then I dropped her keys in my half-full smoothie and chucked it as hard as I could into the restaurant's dumpster. The look on her face when the cup exploded in pink chunks as her keys dropped into a stanky dumpster was absolutely the freaking best. I walked away, flipping her off as she turned and ran back to the attendants. After I did all my bank business, I went back to the lot and saw her shouting at the lot security and pointing at me. The security guard, who of course I knew, asked me what happened. I told him she threw her keys at me, started shouting obscenities, and refused to take them back when I tried to explain that I didn't work there. And also that I threw them in my smoothie and chucked them in the trash next door. He was holding back his laughter when I finished. She tried to get him to call the cops on me, but he explained to her that she willingly gave me her keys and refused to take them back, telling her that she should have taken that extra second to listen to what I was trying to tell her. She then demanded that one of the workers go into the dumpster and fish the keys out, but he just pointed at a sign that said that the lot takes no responsibility for lost or stolen property. He then informed her that her Escalade was blocking traffic into the lot and that if she didn't move it in 15 minutes, he would call a tow truck to move it. She did not like that, and she let him know she didn't through racist ranting and grandstanding. He stood there quietly the whole time and took it. When she was finally finished, he looked down at his watch and told her, "You have 7 minutes, ma'am." Wouldn't you know it, she angrily trudged off towards the dumpster. We had a good laugh about it, but he told me not to do it again. As I pulled out of the lot, I got a nice view of her in the dumpster furiously throwing everything everywhere. I honked and waved as I passed and went about my day with a big smile on my face. The next day, one of the lot guys told me that they ended up having to tow her Escalade. I guess she couldn't find her keys. Oh well, hope the hairdresser didn't mind her smelling like garbage. I'm not sure about the legality of this all, or if I would have been in any actual trouble if the police had been called. She just caught me on a bad day. I don't feel the least bit sorry about what I did though, haha. I guess the moral of the story is don't be racist trash, and also, don't just give your keys to anyone like an idiot. The next story is titled, Old Lady Mistakes Mugger as Employee. I work for a convenience store that has a strict, always comply with muggers, policy. I think because it's cheaper for them to deal with losing whatever's in the register than fighting a suit from an employee hurt defending it. I've worked here off and on for the last 5 years and I've been in the store for 6 robberies. They're usually pretty straightforward. Guy comes in, give me the money, we do, they leave, we call the cops don't do anything. We have cameras but this neighborhood has such bigger problems they never follow up on petty theft. One of those times though, the kid didn't wear a mask. Just a hoodie. Comes in with the hood up, young kid, couldn't have been more than 18 to 20. He paces around for a while, I guess trying to get his nerve up. I figured he was an underage kid trying to work up the courage to buy some beer at first. It was really early in the morning and we were the only people in the store. He approaches the register and says he has a gun, doesn't pull it out, was probably bluffing, and that he won't use it if I just give him money. Talking all tough about, don't try anything today, I'm not the one, etc. I pop open the register and he jumps behind the counter to take the money out. As he's doing this, an old woman comes in. Now I was getting really nervous because I didn't want the old lady to be in a dangerous situation, but before I could react, she recognizes the kid. She runs up to him and goes, "Oh Noah. Hello dear, how are you?" And the kid just freezes behind the counter, hands full of cash. She's older and I guess deaf, so she's shouting, "I didn't realize you'd gotten a job. Good for you dear. You know I just saw your mama the other day and she didn't mention it." He's like, "No, I don't," but she isn't listening. "Your mama never tells me anything. I don't work, don't interrupt me hun. Anyways, your mama never tells me anything." And she's just chattering on, and she starts shopping. I'm just standing there frozen, waiting to see how this plays out, with the guy still behind the register with me. The kid was almost a foot taller than me, and I didn't want to get into an altercation if I could help it. She goes through and she's shopping and she goes, "Noah, hun, could you help me reach this please?" And he's like, "I don't," and she's like, "What are you going to make me beg here?" So he goes over and dead ass starts helping her get things from high shelves. She's like, "Is this really the best price you've got for this?" And he's like, yeah. While he's doing this I call the cops. I think he knows I must have been doing that because he's beyond antsy. At one point he tried to bail but she was like, "Hold on, don't clock out yet, I'll just be a minute. I want to see you at work. This is so exciting, you're all grown up." So he's standing there awkward and panicked, trying to make a decision. Eventually she goes to check out, and I scan her items, keeping an eye on him. She goes, "Oh no, can Noah check me out? He's my friend's son. I didn't know I was visiting him at work. This is so exciting." Wanting to keep things cool until she was out of the store on the off chance the kid did have a weapon of some kind or wasn't stable, I just stepped aside and let him check her out. He didn't really know how to use the scanner or anything, but he got through it. She leaves. Once she's walked out, he runs out of the store and jumps into a car. He didn't get any money from us. It was another 20 minutes before the cops got there, so it wouldn't have mattered either way. But that was the most memorable robbery for me, as robberies go. Not sure if this story fits this sub, but when I saw the sub I had to share this one. I mean, he technically was working, kind of. Just not for us, haha. The next story is titled, "I Don't Work Here, Why Not Do This Again?" Now, I am pretty much a fixture in the local grocery store. Almost every day I am in there because I like to cook, but I don't always remember to get all the ingredients and have to go back. I am in the grocery store so much I know most of the staff by name. A couple of my neighbors even work there. But anyway, I was walking around the aisles picking up beef broth, vegetables and whatnot when I saw a lady wandering the aisle aimlessly. So I thought I would be considerate and ask her if I could help her. The elderly lady was looking for baking goods. I know the store like the back of my hand and know where it is. As we walked to the baking aisle, we struck up a conversation. The sweet elderly lady asked me if I would help her with her shopping because she had never been in the store before. I said sure, why not? I wasn't in no big hurry. I mean, I live in the apartments right behind the store. I mean actually behind the store. I can stand on my patio, take off a shoe and actually hit the back of it. We wound up doing all of her shopping together. She began to tell me about her kids and grandkids, and she was soon to be a great-grandmother. She is a very pleasant woman. I actually learned a few things she told me that she had seen in her lifetime. We walked the aisles taking the items on her list and throwing them in the shopping cart, and she would check the items off. Finally, about half an hour later, we proceeded to check out. I told her I would be right back because I almost forgot what I had gone there for. As I returned to the register, the elderly lady was telling the manager what a nice employee I was and didn't want me to get in trouble for taking up my time. "Dean," the manager smiled, and told her that I don't there. The elderly lady looked at me puzzled and apologized to me for taking up so much of my personal time. I told her I was in no rush and that I live in the apartments nearby. It turns out she just moved several apartments away across the apartment complex. We walked home to our apartments. She smiled and asked me why I helped her if I didn't work there. I told her that my parents raised me to help others without reward. I gave her the groceries. I told her if she needed help or wanted to go shopping, let me know. The elderly woman said she did her shopping every Monday and if I wouldn't mind going in company. I told her it was very kind of her to try and keep me from getting fired even though I don't work there. So now I have a shopping buddy and someone to talk with and share coupons. I know this doesn't have a screaming entitled Karen or Brat, but I just wanted to share this I don't work here story. So thanks for reading. Have a great day. The next story is titled, "Thank You for the New Phone and a Limp." A while ago, while I was in my break from the retail store that I work at, I was shopping in the electronics store directly next to the store I work at. I was wearing the store uniform, which is a very distinctive red and khaki with a jacket on top, as well as my name tag, which very clearly states what store I work at. Anyways, enter crazy mom and her 4 kids. I hear this piercing whistle from behind me a few times, so I looked over my shoulder because crap damn it was loud. And this lady is barreling towards me with her kids in tow. As I turned to her to see what all the hustle and whistling was about, she grabbed my wrist and knocked my phone out of my hand. I then look down and can see glass shards everywhere as the phone is smashed to hell. So I give her the classic, "What the duck, lady?" to which she responded by hysterically screaming that employees should not be texting while working and that I should be ashamed of keeping her waiting because I was texting. I then turned away and she kicked my ankle as I walked away. I tripped, sprained my ankle, face planted and nailed my shoulder on the shelving. Her kids started laughing and pointing. About this point was when an employee arrived and was able to help me up and see if I was okay. Now she finally thinks for a second and a whole new look came over her face as she realized that I don't work at this store in the first place. Then another new look as I told the employee to call the police. She started pleading with me that it was just a mistake and that she was just having a bad day. Long story short, she was arrested on assault charges and eventually had to first replace my phone. Second, was given 350 hours community service. Third, I was awarded a decent sum of money, and my personal favorite is that she has to pay for and attend therapy sessions for the next 3 years. On account of her rage issues. The next story is titled, "So You Can Shop But I Can't." A few years back I was a store manager for a denim brand in a big mall. One day somebody drove into a power pole or something, and one half of the mall's power went out. Luckily for my team and I, we were on the now dark side. Power outages are generally loved in retail because you have to have all customers leave to store due to safety. Then if you're lucky, it's too dark to accomplish any work. So you sit, and wait, and get paid. At least until an impatient customer comes along and expects the circumstances and their rules to be different for them. "It'll just be us," says the 40-something father next to his clearly embarrassed 15-ish-year-old son. "We'll be really quick, we only want to try on a couple pairs." Bottom line and easiest excuses include, "It's against policy," and/or, "I can't put your safety at risk." I was feeling frisky and went with, "Sir, even if you could see what you were doing in here, I don't have the ability to ring up your purchase." So unfortunately no. He was annoyed, but they walked away. I had been looking into getting a new phone at the time, and like every mall, there was a cell phone kiosk right outside my store. It was daytime, so the skylights allowed me to still see my options. While talking with the cell phone guys, I get a text from a coworker inside the store. It just said, "Turn around." Standing at my store again is the man and his, "I don't want to be here, son." And the way the man looked at me can only be described as the best resting idiot face a man in cargo shorts can accomplish. After a few more minutes I head back to my store where the man says to me, "So you get to shop but I don't." Retail employees rarely get their way, so I decided to truly enjoy this moment. With the biggest, happiest of customer service smiles I responded, "Sir, you are absolutely right. Enjoy your day." He later returned to inform me that he'd bought our products at Macy's and gotten them 30% off. Oh, and that I should be ashamed of myself. To which I replied once again with the biggest of smiles, "Macy's carries our outlet line, which are 40% off online currently. I hope you enjoy our products." Sometimes the customer isn't right, and it feels so good. The next story is titled, "No Words Were Needed." Employee since I started reading r/IDontWorkHereLady. Even had nightmares about it. I'm usually pretty careful, but last month I slipped up. It was mid-December, so the Christmas shopping frenzy was in full swing. I had already done mine on Cyber Monday, but that particular morning I had fed my cat the last crumbs at the bottom of the bag and really needed to stop after work to get cat food among other absolute essentials. I stopped at the local Blue Vest place because it was my only chance to grab everything I needed in one stop. As soon as I stepped through the doors, I felt eyes on me. Intensely. Then it dawned on me. I had worn my Blue Company polo today. Same shade and everything, save for a print of the healthcare company I work for on the right breast pocket. I resolved to get in, at least get the cat food, no kitty of mine goes hungry, stay low-key, and get out. I stayed out of the main aisles. I didn't make eye contact with anyone. If somebody started approaching me, I quickly ducked around a corner. I was killing it. I had everything but the cat food when I finally ran into the boss of this level. There were several people in the cat food aisle, including an older man. He was visibly confused and upset, and was shuffling through cat food bags. They quite obviously didn't have his brand on display. I approached slowly and quietly, like a lioness stalking prey through the tall grass of the savannah. I reached around the man and grabbed the kitty kibble. I thought I was home free, but when I dropped the bag in my handbasket, the old guy finally noticed me. He locked eyes with me. He took a breath and was preparing to say something probably along the lines of, "Hey, could you check the back for blah blah brand?" If he asked me for help, other customers would hear, and at that point it might as well be sharks drawn to blood in the water. I took a gamble. Before a sound escaped him, I quickly put my finger to my lips indicating for him to shush. The gambit paid off. Rather than get incensed at the audacity of the gesture to a customer, he was confused and curious. I shook my head and pointed to the logo on my shirt. He peered down through his bifocals, said a simple, "Okay," and he went on his way. No real words exchanged. I hauled it through the back aisles to the cash registers, paid, and got the heck out of there without any more unnecessary human contact. Yeah, I might have social anxiety issues. The next story is titled, "You Want an Appointment with Me?" Sure. This happened a few months ago, but the problem had been going on for years. Every other month, I would get a text message from someone asking for a doctor or to make an appointment. I started off immediately informing them they've got the wrong number. Hey, it happens. When it started happening more frequently, I dealt with the minor annoyance by trying to have some fun. "Is Dr. Lee available?" Me. "There's no Dr. Lee here. Only Dr. Wong. Dr. Wong Num Beer." It was funny until the volume of messages started increasing and I got annoyed. A quick Google search led me to the clinic's page. Their number was indeed easily mistakable for mine. Theirs ends with 013, and mine with 073. And the font used certainly made it worse. I called the clinic to inform them of this problem and that they needed to do something about it. Change the font, spell the numbers out, or even change their number. I just wanted the messages to stop. The lady just brushed me off and said there was nothing she could do. I asked to speak to someone in charge but was denied. She told me to change my number or just deal with it. So here comes the part where I dealt with it. After an odd month of peace, I received several messages over a week asking to make an appointment. "Hi, I would like to make an appointment please." Me. "Sure, the next available slot is next Friday at 10. Would that work for you?" I made very sure never to claim that I represented the clinic. If anyone asked for a specific doctor, I would say there is no such person here, and if they did ask for the clinic I'd inform them they got the wrong number. Basically, I had myself covered and I tried to have everyone's appointment at the same time. When Friday came around, I received several angry replies from those people and a call from the clinic. Messages went generally like this. "You're a terrible person. Why would you do this to waste my time? Why did you pretend to be the clinic?" Me. "I'm sorry ma'am, but I run a PC repair service. Except I don't take appointments via SMS nor is my personal number listed. I was expecting you at 10 but you didn't show. If you looked at your message you never asked if I was the clinic and I never claimed to be." And the call went like this. CL. Clinic lady. CL. "Hi, who is this? Why did you pretend to be us and arranged for all these appointments?" Me. "I called you months ago letting you know about this but you told me to deal with it. So I set appointments up for them to see me. It's not my fault they showed up at your door. Maybe you should change your phone number." I hang up. Sure, I felt a little bad I made those people travel to the clinic, but I've since stopped receiving messages from random people, and after checking on the clinic's site, they now have an online appointment making system. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.